Hey everyone, and welcome back to another movie review. Today we are talking about a movie called The Offering, which came up on my Hulu recommendations here in the last week. This also means that you guys can go watch it as soon as this video is over, and then let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. Usually with these kind of movies, when I've never heard anything about it, I get very skeptical about them, because if there's no hype for a movie, that means it's probably not very good. But I wanted to give it a chance because when I read the description of it, it kind of read like a Jewish version of The Mortuary Assistant, which is a game I played a while back on my Twitch channel, and that really scared me. So I had a little bit of hope, but I wanted to give you guys a chance to hear my thoughts and opinions about the film, so you guys can go watch it afterwards and then let me know what you guys think. But here's my full non-spoiler review of the film, and I hope you enjoy. So with his first child on the way, our main character Arthur decides to take his wife Claire to a Hasidic neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York to rekindle a relationship with his father Saul. Saul, here's the real kicker, is a funeral director and runs his business out of the family house that Arthur grew up in. Now if I was Claire and was asked to stay in that house for 3 days, I think I would cry and ask for a hotel room or just swiftly ask for a divorce. I think that staying in a funeral home would really creep me out, and I just wouldn't like it. I also couldn't imagine being Arthur growing up there and being like a 7-year-old and just being like, yeah, it's a Tuesday, here's another funeral, or just being there all the time. I think I would need therapy for the rest of my life. As well, we see Saul, who is a more conservative kind of Jewish man who is in this neighborhood, kind of blend together with a more modern take on the family in this very kind of warming kind of building of the relationship, even though it's in this very creepy setting. Now, in this house, you have the top story, which is the bedrooms. Okay, cool. It's a standard house. You have the main floor, which is basically the business floor. You have like the viewing room and then the kitchen where they actually have family dinners connected, and you can kind of see them from each other, which is really creepy. And then to top it all off, connected by the weirdest elevator I've ever seen, is a scary basement where they keep the bodies in cold storage. Now, regardless of how creepy I find this house, it is very heartwarming to see Claire and Saul build a relationship that is made very evident that they've never had before. It's never explained as to why Arthur and Saul have had such a falling out, but it's also made clear that they haven't seen or spoken to each other since before Claire and Arthur got married. So it's very interesting to see them kind of become acquainted with each other and kind of learn about each other. However, this is also darkened by Arthur's alternative motives for being here. Arthur, unbeknownst to his wife and Saul, is there to have him help mortgage his family home so he doesn't lose it. Claire doesn't know that Arthur is losing money out the wazoo and hasn't made any money in quite some time, so it's very darkening to see kind of that element over that. And we haven't even got to the demon portion of this yet, okay? So I also just started to dislike Arthur as a character at this point because he's lying, and I just don't like that. He's not supposed to be this good character that I want to survive and like fight this demon. He's just someone that I stopped caring about. I care about Claire, I care about Saul, and I care about a character named Hamish, who is Saul's best friend, who's also distrusting of Arthur, but I don't care about Arthur at this point, which is not good. Like, I should want him to survive, I just don't. So this family reunion is quickly interrupted by Hamish bringing in a dead body of a neighbor. Arthur and Saul go downstairs to clean the body like the good old days and are met with a weird knife and an amulet around the guy's neck that is like a really pretty blue, might I add. But Arthur accidentally breaks this and unleashes the Taker of Children, which is the demon and the evil force that we see throughout the film. Which, if you haven't picked up on, is not good for our girl Claire, because Claire is very pregnant, and she's just kind of hanging out, taking a nap upstairs. She's just vibing, and now she's got to deal with the Taker of Children. I also can't tell you why I say her name like that every time, but I just do, because I really have to emphasize that she's here to take your children. This also takes on multiple meetings as she takes different kind of figures and kind of jump scares and all kinds of things to really torture the family in different ways. It also plays with perspective in a really interesting way and kind of like forces them to see things and hear things that aren't clearly there. Now this is the entirety of the back of the film as they try to figure out what they're going to do, how they're going to escape, stuff like that. I would say overall, though I enjoy the themes of religious horror meeting family horror, I would say that I was very disappointed by the actual horror elements of this movie. Now, the jump scares and everything about those are telegraphed really hard, and you can kind of see them coming if you've seen any other horror film before. But the thing that really surprised me was the volume. A lot of movies have this issues too, where the volume gets really quiet, they're talking really quietly, and you can't hear them, so you crank up the volume, and then it's jump scare, and it's really aggressively loud. The first jump scare, I had it turned up because I couldn't hear the guy talking, and then it jump scared, and I had to crank it back down right away. But then turn it back up because he kept talking, and it was so quiet. I watched this at like 2 a.m., so when I got a text being like, can you turn it down? I felt really bad that I was jump scaring someone at 2 a.m., so I just turned it off, and I decided to watch it the next morning instead, which is probably a good idea because I was able to have the volume at the correct volume so I could hear them speaking and the jump scares at the same time. As well, the demon looked very lackluster. I will say that the demon itself, though kind of hot, was very kind of generic, and it looked like it came out of cable television. The movie also borrows tropes from shows like Supernatural, games like Phasmophobia, stuff like that. So I was very bored because these are tropes that you see in everything now, and I just was like, come on. You could have given me something so cool and so interesting, but instead we're seeing the same tropes that we see in every horror film, you know? We're getting research sections, we're getting different elements of like, oh, we can't see the ghost, so we have to do a picture or whatever, and stuff like that. So I was very kind of disappointed because I really wanted it to be interesting because I liked the premise, but I didn't enjoy the actual execution, which is really disappointing overall. Okay, so the burning question on everyone's mind. Is this movie worth watching? The answer? Maybe. If you have access to it for free and you can have like an hour and a half to kill, you might want to give it a watch. But if you don't have access to it for free, I wouldn't recommend going out of my way to watch this. Like, I don't think I would have paid to see this film. But, you know, it was free. I had an hour and a half. Why not, you know? But overall, it's okay. But if you guys did like this video and like my movie reviews, make sure you like and comment on this video so we can get more, as well as subscribe to my channel. I am going to be doing some more movie reviews every Saturday, whether it's a horror film, action film, stuff like that. I'm also thinking about revisiting films that I've seen in the past so I can discuss those in full length, as well as I'm going to be releasing a full in-depth analysis of Evil Dead Rise after I see it again this weekend. So make sure you also check out that video. But in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!